Hi everybody, welcome back to Qt series with C++ and CMake. By the end of the series, you'll be familiar with Qt6 framework, Qt which is mostly used nowadays for real software, and minimum required CMake, so you can make your apps. This episode is an introduction. I will show you how to create an empty project and discuss the project structure. Also, the episode will cover the use of some basic input and output that Qt framework provides us to show info in the console. So let's just dive right in. So here's my Qt creator. I expect you to have Qt creator downloaded. There are tons of videos out there on how to do that, and the installation process is not such a philosophy. So I know that you can do it without my help. As you can see, I already have some projects, don't worry about it. When you first open your editor, you can see so many different buttons, but don't worry, we'll get used to it. Just for now, we want to create a project, so let's click on the Create Project. As you can see here, you have a bunch of options, but we are interested in application Qt and Qt console application. Just for now, we don't want to jump right into Qt Quick, and I want you to build a good basement in just a framework. So let's choose it. You can choose whatever location you want and specify the name of your project. Let's say I'll name it tutorial 1. I already have that. So video, but you can choose whatever name you want. You can also set it as default project location where you chose, and go ahead and click next. And here we want to choose CMake as a build system because CMake is mostly widely used nowadays. We skip the translation file because for now we don't want it, and in the kit selector just select all, because you might want to use it in the future. I mean, debug mode is really useful sometimes. Okay, let's hit next. And here in the version control, we also not gonna choose any version control. I mean, any. We have only Git. If you want, you can, but it's the introduction episode, so I won't do it. So let's finish and create our project. After project is successfully created, you can see your main CPP file with the main function. I won't explain very basic stuff about C++, such as what is functions, loops, and variables, because I hope you have some knowledge about this beautiful language. I will mostly focus on Qt framework and what is really happening. At the beginning of main function, you have Qt core application that is used to event loop management, life cycle, and centralized object management. If you don't really understand what that means, for now, don't worry. We will discuss these topics in the future videos, and I'll do my best so you understand it. So here really we just create a variable that manages all application. And here notice some interesting thing. We return a.exec method. What? As you remember, in C++, in most cases, we return 0, just like that, at the end of the main function, if everything is okay, or some status code, if we want to notify about problem. But here we call exec method, and you probably wonder what it even doing. See, Qt framework is mostly used for desktop apps, and every such app needs to have an infinite loop inside, so it can manage timers, events, or other input. Even though we have a console app that should have a start and end, we also need to add it to work with the framework functionality, such as signals and slots, for example, that we will discuss, of course, in future episodes. As you can see, there is also a comment. If you read it, here it says, call a.quit or a.exit to quit the application. And it also gives us example that we will test later, and I will show you how it really works. In the project, as you can see here, we have also cmakelist.txt file. Here we have it. If you are not familiar with CMake, it basically helps us build projects for different compilers and environments by providing simple configurations, calling functions like here, what you see. By series going, we will see how that file changes, but just for now, you should know that we can provide some info for Qt with the set function. Like here, we can set, for example, language standard or something to relate or something, some another stuff. And add our files with the functions like add executable. There are other functions, and I will show it to you as the series going. I know that you're probably a bit tired of my talking, but trust me, as more carefully you listen, as fewer problems you'll encounter in the future. Not every tutorial will explain you bit by bit what is happening. And now let's go to the main CPP file. And we have very responsible work to do. We have to write a first hello world program and understand what is happening under the hood. When you develop Qt app, you can use standard CPP library. For example, IOStream, like you can write include IOStream. It's not an error or something to print data. But Qt has its own mechanisms, and it is recommended to use it rather than standard C++ libraries. I mean, that is why we call Qt framework, because framework is like container with a bunch of different libraries to make everything you want. Okay. So I started and then deleted. Sorry. Instead of IOStream, we'll include QText stream. It's something similar, okay, but in Qt. It will give us a way to input and output data in the console. At the beginning, I will show you the harder way to do it, and then the easier one that you'll mostly use in the next episodes. Before we will dive into Qt Quick, and you'll display it in your on your interface. The longer way and the harder it depends on the thing that you have to create Qtext stream object passing parameter in the constructor. So I won't delete comments for now, and let's see how you can create that object. So as a normal C++, you write the type, then name. Let's firstly make input stream, then output stream. Stream. And here it is important thing that we have to show to show in program that we want to have input stream. Here we write std in. Okay, and then let's copy it and make the same just with the output stream, and it's gonna be std out. The very important thing here is that std in and std out don't actually have anything related to the that std namespace that you probably write it earlier, and you write like this out and all of that stuff. It's not have anything related to it. What you pass is just macros. As you can see, if you hover your mouse over, you see it's macro. And that macro is and those macros are representing the pointers to the file structure. I mean, the structure of the type file, like this. And that structure allows you to read and write input. If you, as I say, if you hover your mouse over, you can see it. If you want, you can dive into it, or you can just trust me, but because like how you like. Then, as you created it, you can write something similar to what you made previously. For example, output data, and we can output it. Let's say enter your username. For example, we sign in some console app. Okay. And then what we want to do is read that line that the user want to provide us. And for now, let's quickly include type that we want to use. It's QString. I mean, for now, you can think of QString just as normal string. Of course, we will later discuss it more deeply, but for now, it's just string, okay? Username equals to, and here important thing, but I mean, it's similar to what you done in just C++ with the IOStream. And here's get input stream, sorry, read line. If you want, you can specify the maximum length of string that you read, or you can just pass it and read the string that we have from user. And then it's logical that we want to output stream, let's say hello username. Okay. Now, if you try to run your app, let's try. As you see here, application output, and you really get nothing. I mean, even the terminal didn't open it. What is happening? So we have a couple of mistakes, and the first one is that if you work with console and want to see something in console, then we have to configure out our project. Let's go to projects, here run, and check the run in terminal. Okay, then let's go to edit. Let's run it one more time. As you see, the terminal opened, but we don't have that output. There is nothing. Okay, we have one more mistake, and it is more interesting. I am not sure if you remember it from your maybe some C++ tutorials, but every stream in C++ works like a stream and could be broken. So we have to add one interesting line after every output. Output stream flush. So after we flush it, we kind of fixed it. And here also we have to add, if you try to run, let's try, as you see it builds. And we have here, enter your username, I don't know, user1, hello user1. Everything works fine and properly. And that is fine. As you see, it took us a bit of time to write output functionality. As I mentioned previously, there is easier and faster way. Instead of flushing and creating objects, instead of we can use QInfo. or it has another types, for example QDebug, but for now we will use QInfo. What is that? So first things first, we have to include it. I mean, why I could write it? Because I included QStream, and it has already that library, but in normal world you have to include QDebug. So okay, let's write it. Let's remove object from our code and then just write like this, and I will explain you why it works. Oh, sorry, I deleted all text and I don't want to write it one more time. So I will just copy and paste. And here it's similar. I don't want to write it one more time, so I will copy and paste. Let's quickly run just to make sure it works, and I will explain you what is happening here. Can make it more beautiful like this. Enter your name, no QE, and as you see it very nicely outputs for us. So what is really happening is that QInfo is really macro. It's also macro, as you see. And it returns us just a temporary stream-like object for logging. And it makes everything that is necessary instead of us, so you can just output data and don't care about nothing. As I mentioned at the beginning of the episode, we call a.exec method to run application loop. Instead, we can run it for some time and then quit. Let's use the suggestion in the comment section and include QTimer, and then copy and paste, add single shot at the beginning of the our function. I won't explain for now what is single shot, but it's like after 5 seconds that function quit will be called. Okay, I will explain it more deeply in the later episodes. Okay, and now I will left all code here. Let's remove comments, we don't want it anymore. And if I run it, okay, let's save all. It builds. Let's wait a second. If I run it, I will wait 5 seconds, okay? I won't enter my username, just wait 5 seconds. I think 5 seconds is gone. Let's write something. No, it was just, it was like 5 seconds, okay. Let's put 1 instead, because I want to show it for you. I'm not patient, as you see. Okay, 1 second is left. If I write something, you see. Before I get my second output, I get here that message. Process exited with code 0. So our program like quitted, and then we got our output. And that's how it works. So we can quit program before the end. We'll discuss timer and bunch of interesting stuff in the next episodes, but for now I think it is enough. So thanks you for watching, and don't forget to stay motivated and learn Qt.